You know that feeling when you're scrolling through endless options for a home elliptical and you start wondering if you're about to waste a few $100 on something that will just collect dust? I felt that exact hesitation last month, trying to convince a friend who's been stuck on the treadmill for years that an elliptical could actually fit into his cramped apartment and still give him a solid cardio workout. The thing that finally tipped the scales for me was finding a model that promised both a decent stride for taller users and a tech-savvy display without the massive price tag of a high-end commercial unit. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Trac 4 Series elliptical cross trainer from Dynasty Fitness lands right in that sweet spot between a full-blown gym machine and a space-saving home gadget. It's marketed as residential and light commercial, which basically means it's built to hold up under regular daily use and can even handle a few more intense sessions without screaming for a service call. The first thing I looked at was the 350-pound weight capacity. If you or anyone you know weighs close to that limit, you can breathe easy knowing the frame isn't going to buckle after a few months. That capacity also tells you the machine can accommodate larger users comfortably, which is a frequent complaint with lower-end home ellipticals that feel cramped on a longer stride. Speaking of stride, the Trac 4 offers a 20-inch, 51 centimeters length. That's a practical number for most people. Short enough to fit into a typical living room layout, but long enough that someone who's 6'2" can still get a natural, full-range motion without feeling like they're stepping on a treadmill belt. I tried it out in a friend's place where the ceiling height was only 8 feet. The elliptical fit without any need to tilt the headroom, which is something you can't always guarantee with those taller, bulkier machines. One of the biggest selling points is the 40 levels of resistance. In practice, that translates to a very gradual climb from a gentle warm-up to a serious hill-climbing session. If you're a beginner who's just getting back into cardio after a break, you can start at the lower end and let the machine guide you up as your fitness improves. On the flip side, a seasoned athlete can crank the resistance up quickly and get that high-intensity interval training feel without having to juggle separate weight stacks. The quick select adjustment lever makes this transition almost instant. No need to step off, and fiddle with the dial while you're trying to keep your heart rate up. Now let's talk about the display. Most home ellipticals either have a tiny monochrome readout or a clunky console that feels like a throwback to the early 2000s. The Trac 4 breaks that mold with an active matrix, full-color flat-panel LCD that looks more like a small TV than a gym console. The screen shows you time, distance, calories burned, and heart rate, but it also lets you scroll through music playlists, watch a quick news headline, or even sync with a fitness app if you're into data tracking. In a real-world scenario, imagine you're cooking dinner and want to keep an eye on the timer while you're getting a cardio burst. In this display makes that seamless. One feature that isn't always highlighted but can be a hidden win is the self-generating mode. The elliptical can operate without being plugged into a wall because the motion of the pedals generates electricity to power the console and the resistance system. For someone who lives in a rented space where adding new outlets is a hassle, or for the eco-conscious user who likes to minimize power draw, this is a neat trick. Of course, if you're going to use it for long, high-intensity sessions, you might still want to keep it plugged in to ensure the resistance stays consistent, but the option is there. So, who should actually buy the Trac 4? If you're a mid-size household looking for a reliable cardio machine that can handle multiple users, this is a solid pick. It's especially appealing for families where one adult might be doing a light workout while a teenager does a more intense session thanks to the wide resistance range and robust weight capacity. Fitness enthusiasts who appreciate a bit of tech flair like syncing playlists or monitoring heart rate in real time will also find the display a genuine upgrade over the basic LCDs you see on most budget models. On the other hand, there are a few scenarios where you might want to keep scrolling. First, if space is truly at a premium, say you have a studio apartment with a narrow hallway, this elliptical's footprint, while not massive, is still larger than a folding treadmill or a compact stepper. The assembly process, which involves bolting the main frame together and attaching the pedals, can be a bit of a weekend project. If you're not comfortable with tools or you need something you can set up in under an hour, you might look at a pre-assembled model, or